This was a mother giving birth in prison. A few months ago, she accidentally killed her abusive husband. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. She was pregnant before going to prison. According to the Korean law at that time, if the female prisoner gives birth in prison, she can take care of her child up to 18 months. This woman gave birth to a son named Minyu. The boy lived with his mother and other female prisoners. This is a music teacher. When she was young, she killed her husband and his lover, so she went to prison. This woman borrowed money from the gangster to take care of her children, but didn't have the money to pay, so she killed. For killing the evil coach, this wrestling athlete also went to prison. Because they all killed, they faced a high prison sentence. Although this was a dark and desperate place, but when Minyu was born, this place seemed to glow and became warmer. Minyu was extremely cute and obedient. The boy was like an angel. When looking at Minyu, everyone felt extraordinarily warm. Being loved and cared for by everyone, Minyu grew up healthy. On Minyu's first birthday, there was the ritual of taking items to predict the future. People told him to take pencils, strings, money, but eventually, Minyu took the handcuffs, which made everyone extremely awkward. Seeing that, the music teacher said, if Minyu takes the handcuffs, maybe in the future he will be a judge. Thanks to that, people no longer felt confused. That day, there was a new female prisoner arriving. Although this girl was quite young, but her personality was very unpleasant. Seeing the girl, Minyu walked curiously towards her, but she pushed Minyu down to the ground. Seeing that, Minyu's mother rushed to beat her. Fortunately, the warden came and stopped them in time, but they were then locked in a dark room. At night, this girl frantically banged her head into the wall to suicide. It turned out that since childhood, she was mistreated by her stepfather, and she was almost raped. For self-defense, she killed her stepfather, but she has been mistreated for many years, so her mentality wasn't stable. Then the girl returned to the cell room. Everyone in the room didn't say anything, but only Minyu approached to hug her. The girl no longer pushed him away. During the exercise session, there were a few people looking for the girl. At first, she didn't want to pay attention to them, but when they pushed Minyu down to the ground, she got angry and rushed to beat them. After the others saw them, Minyu was bullied. They also rushed to knock down those people. Minyu was like sunshine, warming everyone in prison, but in 6 months, he would be taken away. Minyu had lived in prison for 1 year, and had never seen the outside world. Minyu's mother felt very sorry for him, and she wanted to take Minyu out once. At this time, there was a group of artists coming to the prison to perform. Minyu's mother immediately went to beg the sheriff. If she can set up a performance team and win the prize, she will be out one day. She can take her son out to see the free world. The sheriff happily accepted her request. She then quickly looked for a member for her performance team. The music teacher at the university will be the leader. After a long time searching, the performance team was almost full of members, but there was a lack of a female vocalist. The mother looked at the girl. It turned out that this girl used to be a student of music school, so she sang extremely well. The girl then agreed to join the performance team. Eventually the performance team in the prison was also established. Thanks to everyone's efforts, the performance team performed very successfully. The audience was very excited and applauded them. After that, Minyu's mother also got a chance to take him out for a day. But she heard a news. The day they went out was also the day that Minyu was adopted by another family. That day had eventually come. She wore a clean casual outfit. She then took her son to a kindergarten, handing a notebook to the principal, and asked the principal to give it to the person who would adopt her son. She left after seeing her son for the last time. However, when just walking out the door, she turned back, and the person who adopted her son also came. Seeing her son being held by another person, she hiccuped in tears, and she thought this would be the best choice for her son. After returning to the prison, the mother no longer wanted to do anything. She was like a soulless person. Her son was no longer here, so she also had no motivation to live. Seeing that, the music teacher told her, for your son, you have to persevere. One day you will see him again. After that, she devoted herself entirely to the performance team. Music helped these female prisoners to overcome guilt and regret. They united and loved each other. So the prison life also became happier. They found the joys in music. Just like that, for years past, the entertainment team also became more developed. One day, the jailer informed them that their performance team would have a chance to participate in a contest in Seoul. This is a valuable opportunity. Not only can they get out, but they also meet their family members. Everyone was very happy, but there was a trouble happening. There was a lady saying that she had lost her belongings, and she suspected the culprit might be these female prisoners. They tried to explain, but no one would believe them. They were even forced to take off their clothes for investigation, and the performance they had expected for a long time was also cancelled. Only the mother refused to undress. She stood up to protest, but she was pushed to the ground by a fierce guard. At that moment, the sheriff came and defended them. The prisoners performing today are all special guests. They are supervised by 10 police officers. If you think we don't monitor closely, if these prisoners steal things, I will take responsibility. Finally, these female prisoners also had the opportunity to stand on stage. Although there are many prejudices about us, they said, we also want to send these lyrics to the people we love. That made everyone cry. The audience applauded loudly to cheer their spirits up. Everyone stood up and applauded. Suddenly, the light bulb was turned off. There was a childish voice sounding. A children's performance team came to the stage. The boy standing at the first line holding the mother's hand. The mother recognized the mole on the boy's hand. This was her son, Minyu. But he didn't recognize the mother who gave birth to him. After the show, she didn't say anything, just hugged him. "I love you," the boy said. Minyu's adoptive mother gave her a gift before leaving. It was a notebook in which there were many photos of Minyu in the past for years. She looked at the photos but not to hold back her emotions, so she cried loudly. This woman used to be a teacher, but now she is a prisoner. 10 years ago, when she was on a business trip, her husband had an affair with the student in front of her daughter. This made her extremely angry, so she drove them to death. Then she was sentenced to death, but at that time, Korean law didn't apply the death penalty. Therefore, she has been in prison for the past 10 years. She was the longest prisoner here, and also the oldest, so she also had the most experience in life, and her experiences were also valuable. Therefore, she was considered as a mother. She was always dedicated to taking care of each person, but she wasn't forgiven by her daughter. Although she sent a lot of letters to her daughter, she didn't receive any responses. She called for her daughter, but her daughter just said, "You called the wrong person," then immediately hung up. Thanks to the help of the jailer, she finally met her daughter, but the daughter said, for many years, she couldn't accept being the killer's daughter. Everything was so difficult. It was all caused by your transient anger. If that hadn't happened, she probably wouldn't have suffered like this. Hearing that, she was heartbroken. "Maybe I'm dead, you just forgive you. I won't allow you to die. If you die, you're free. What about me? So live well. I want you to live in misery every day." Then her daughter immediately left. She was extremely miserable. She devoted all her time to the performance team. When starting to practice, she always told everyone, "If we want to sing well, put all our heart into the melody of the song. If it's not like that, our performance team won't be successful." Therefore, she led everyone to build a solidarity team. People shared everything together. They also tried to practice regularly. The performance team was getting better and better. They were even invited to Seoul to compete with other teams. But unexpectedly, they received the news. The death sentence will be restored. Knowing that news, the daughter of the music teacher looked for her. The jailer took her back to the house she used to live. Her daughter immediately ran to hug her. She didn't know why her daughter forgave her. Finally, she waited until this day. They eventually didn't misunderstand each other anymore. At night, the daughter gently held her hand and leaned on her shoulder. She felt that she was very sorry for her mother, so she cried loudly. The next day, when returning to the prison, everyone congratulated her. While everyone was having a good time, the jailer entered to take her away. It seemed everyone understood what would happen. She quickly packed up her belongings and tried to suppress her emotions. Everyone took her hand. "Don't go. It's okay," she said. After leaving, she looked at each one. Suddenly they smiled at each other. At this time, there was a warm melody resounding in the prison. At the end of the movie is the scene she looks back. She smiled and bravely faced her tragic situation. For them, perhaps freedom is limited, but one thing is forever unrestricted. That is love. The movie comes here. See you in the next time.